Hey folks, I'm Aspen Arrow, and this is RimWorld. We are back in the desert with our tribal impids, having just left off having visitors join us seeking 2 medicine, which we will not be giving to them, as the impids have reduced healing and reduced immunity. And if we get hit with a disease, I really want the 2 medicine that we have available to us. So with that, let's get going. Not a lot going on this afternoon as I guess it's morning, as we join the colony. Getting our anima tree meditation done. You can see we're starting to build up a lot of grass. And everyone just going about their business for the day. We finally got a table put in, getting our research done. You can see we have an ostrich on the map. So we'll need to be sure to go hunt that and get the food. And then we unlock stone cutting finally. That'll give us the opportunity to start expanding our base as we need to. Since we have no wood and very little steel, go ahead and pick up complex furniture so we can get some beds. And shelves, because I went to build shelves for the food spots and forgot that they were a part of complex furniture. Checking out crafting here, as I was thinking of doing some recurve bows just for a little bit more damage and expanded range. Would be a sacrifice of wood, but protection is important. But as you can see as we go to put the bill in, we don't have a high enough crafter. Just at that time, we have a quest available for Dani on the run. Which is for a 45-year-old message carrier named Dani to join us with 1 attacker and impid. Dani is a baseliner, but I'm going to accept the quest in the hopes of downing the impid. I also noticed Dani was a messenger, so I thought she might have good stats to perhaps be our trader and be a little expendable. I was going to put it off, but then figured while our visitors were there, we might as well accept. Put the dog inside so she doesn't get attacked again. Limit everyone to nearby as we wait for the attack. And we get Dani, who comes with a prosthetic leg. Melee, animals, and social. Who is psychically sensitive, so potentially maybe get some psi-links. Ideology was fine, loyal collectivist, so nothing too incompatible with ours. Still will likely convert Dani if we decide to keep her. The biggest problem with baseliners in the desert is they are prone to heat stroke. And we're a ways off from being able to make dusters. Toss Dani down a sleeping spot. I did debate and continue to debate if it was worth making more bedrolls when we'll hopefully get beds soon. And immediately regretted selling the 2 clubs as I had no weapon for Dani. But it'll get us some crafting experience, so we'll go ahead and make one. That way Dani at least has some sort of weapon. And here's our raid, 1 impid. A 17-year-old impid. It was a jealous, slow learner. Again, just like the Neanderthal, slow learner is a really frustrating trait. They basically don't learn. So the stats aren't really going to improve. This person's also incapable of dumb labor, which I just detest. So as Dani's running back towards home, It occurs to me that Dani has a prosthetic leg and impids have a high speed, so Dani was likely to get caught by the impid. And so we send our tribe out to save her. And as Dani goes running by, we get ready to fight our lone attacker. I debated using fire spew, but then I also remembered that impids are heat resistant, or I think fire resistant. Get everybody out of the way, and didn't quite move them far enough as we take a hit. Nothing too bad, but I needed to be more careful with our range. It is short bow against short bow, but I think that could have been avoided. Our attacker is quickly downed. We get a little pemmican for our effort and a short bow. Go ahead and get someone set up to craft that club. And get Dani's work set up. We're going to go ahead and set her to self-doctor, just so if she does become our trader, she'll self-tend. We're not going to have her warden because she's a different ideology and we'd likely be converting. Go ahead and put her up to take care of handling, which will take some stuff off Forath. Decided against having Dani cook because she doesn't have a passion. And then she'll clean and haul, which will also let Kuz focus more on research and get her off of cleaning. And you can see our kitchen is getting very dirty, so go ahead and get that cleaned in the hopes of avoiding food poisoning. Our visitors are leaving, empty-handed. Had a small little social fight, which is why I always want to be sure to have doctor care but no medicine so that we're not wasting our medicine on bruises. You can see nobody got too hurt. And it was over a comment that compared Kuz to a criminal, and you'll notice a little joke about aspen trees, which seemed appropriate for the channel. Anima tree is up to 18 grass. And in the morning, we're going to go ahead and go hunt the ostrich for the meat and I guess for the leather, but that'll probably go towards a bedroll. Get a first hit, which is nice. The short bows just seem like they miss a lot more than anything else. We can see my excellent kiting skills on display here again as Haz gets dangerously close to the ostrich, but Sezin takes him down. Forgot to pull everyone out of the nearby zone. Went ahead and fixed Dani's schedule. Dani is not able to meditate at the anima tree. She doesn't have natural meditation, so she'll just recreate during that time instead. And in the evening, we have our Stonecutter's bench done, and our barracks is still pretty terrible, and we're getting a mood debuff. We're not going to get a ton better, but I decided to go ahead and move our stockpile zone over into the little side room, and we'll just have to make another little prison. But that'll be okay. We have stone cutting unlocked. It'll be a lot easier to put up walls now. So we'll move everything over there except for the stuff that can be outside and doesn't deteriorate. We'll keep our silver inside so that it's not stolen during a raid. And we have our anima tree link in the early morning along with an eclipse. So it is dark out today. We're going to go ahead and link Forath again. That should get her up to Psylink level 2 after getting solar pinhole last time. We join the columnist for the ceremony. At that point, Cuz is close to a major break risk, so we go ahead and let Cuz leave. You can see that we have a toxin clearance quest come down at this time. Take a look at that here in a minute. And just at that moment, Randy decides to give one of our animals the plague. But first, let's look at Forath for a good long minute. Keep looking. And we got blinding pulse, which is all right. I mean, it helps keep people from having good accuracy when they're shooting at you. And you can see that our horse, Flo, did get sick. So I'm going to go ahead and toss down an animal sleeping spot. Get rid of that caravan spot. That way the horse can lay down and we'll do some treatment. And here we have our toxin clearance. It's 90 toxic waste packs for some Glitter World medicine, Hyperweave, or low shield pack. Honestly, I'd really like the Glitter World medicine, but we have no way to store the toxic waste packs. And if I recall, they're really heavy. So we can't even have someone caravan that many out and go dump them on a hostile tribe, which of course could prompt a raid, but I don't think we'll be taking this quest. I don't think it's worth the pollution. And we'll send Forath over to tend to the horse. Unfortunately, it's dark, and even with herbal medicine that I forgot to switch on the horse after we got on the map, we only got a 16% tend. And you can see we're slowly catching it with the horse, but it's still going to be pretty close. I did decide to go ahead and toss a solar pinhole, just so we get hopefully a better 10 quality. And it doesn't necessarily hurt our folks out in the fields today. Get rid of some darkness debuffs. You can see our barracks is still pretty awful, but it's slightly less awful than before. Go ahead and let Fantasia go outside, and then we have some space chunks land. Debated moving the animal sleeping spot, but ultimately decided it's fine. And you can see we've got 2 space chunks for when we need some components and steel. You also see, as I said earlier, the problem with Baseliner was that Dani was going to get heat stroke, and she is in fact getting heat stroke. But we don't have that much wood, nor do we have electricity. So Dani's just going to have to deal with it, and it may ultimately mean that Dani doesn't stay in the colony. I'm not quite sure. I think she could be a useful pawn, but until we get clothing and enough leather, she's going to persistently have heat stroke, and she's already fairly slow. You can see that Kaz failed to convert Dani. We did use the convert ability after she arrived to start working on that. And then Randy blesses us with the plague after our horse got sick. So Sezen and Kaz are ill. And we'll go ahead and have Forath tend that, and we're going to use our 2 regular medicine. Suddenly very glad that I did not give the beggars our 2 good medicine. Have to interrupt Forath and Haz during their attempts to have children while in the middle of the barracks, but that's okay. Go ahead and get this treated. I don't want it getting out of hand. I do have color-coded mood bar, which obviously is helpful because I have the little icon showing the stage of the disease, if you will. So red means we're behind on immunity. Yellow is just ahead. I don't remember the percentage. And green is sort of, hey, you're pretty much in the clear. You've got a good head start on that percentage. We get some okay 10s. I think enough that we're going to be able to survive, but we will go ahead and put Sezen and Cuz on bed rest. I debated making some meals, but we still just have so little wood that I think raw food will have to keep doing when we can't make some pemmican. You can see that Sezen got up out of bed, so we're going to go ahead and convert some of these bedrolls over to medical. Tell Sezen to get back in bed. And we'll take everyone but Forath off. They all have pretty comparable medical skill, but Forath at least has a minor passion, so hopefully we'll level up a little faster. You can see as we rejoin that Cuz and Sezen still resting. Dani still has heat stroke as a flash storm strikes the desert. This was actually really cool to see. I don't know that I've ever paid that much attention, and with having the desert, you get this really nice lightning bolt. So if you have a flashing issue, watch for flashing. There's a few more of them. But it was actually really cool to see. I don't think it's something I'd really paid attention to in the past. And Dani bravely comes down to pick up our steel, being a real trooper. I was afraid she was gonna get hit, but she did not. And with that, the flash storm comes to an end, and we have a transport pod with Mila, an aromatherapist, landing right next to us, so it's kind of hard to ignore her. You can see okay cooking plants, or sorry, no more than okay cooking. Good cooking plants, animals, better medical than we have right now. And Mila is a space refugee, so I think there's a high probability she'll join. I don't know what the exact percentage is, but just like with Dani, Mila is a baseliner, so we're gonna have the same issue. You can see going back and forth on whether to rescue, but I did decide to go ahead and do it and then figure it out from there. Have Forath tend. And you can see our little color-coded move bar that Cuz is in the green right now. We're getting another tend. Got a 61, which is pretty good with herbal medicine and only a skill of 4. So I think Cuz is going to pull through, and then Sezen is at least ahead by a tiny bit. Gets a tending quality of 41, so fingers crossed that's enough to stay that bit ahead. Did decide to go ahead and cook meals. I'm not entirely sure that raw food or meal will make a difference on immunity gain. I think it's just hunger in general, but they're sick. We'll go ahead and have some meals for a bit. We were able to harvest a few cactus for wood, but we remain pretty low. And everyone's off to bed, except for Cuz, who needed to throw the hoop stone in the middle of the night. And I think that's where we'll call it. This is now the first of Jugas, so we've made it through our first season. We've got a sick horse, sick colonist, 2 baseliners who are going to constantly get heat stroke, low wood, almost no food, but we're getting there and we haven't died yet. So I'd like to thank you for joining me today in RimWorld. And as always, have a pleasant day and I'll see you next time.